Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Rust guide here in Rust Console Power Search Update. On today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys, or I'll be talking about power sources on Rust Console. Now, I had made a video about this before, but I did make a couple of the mistakes, so I'm going to be correcting some of it. And for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, hello, welcome to the channel. I will be your host, BioLaser. Let's just jump right into the video. Now, when it comes to power search update, the way that you're going to be able to acquire these power sources is going to be you either craft them or you could buy them. Now, we're going to jump right into that. The only way that you're going to, or the only things you really need is going to be a workbench level 1 and a workbench level 2. You're going to learn everything you need about power or any of the power sources in here. So if you can see on the first workbench, you're going to learn things like the large solar panel as well as basically your regular battery, which is kind of like the most simplest thing I could tell you. And then if you come over to the workbench level 2, you're going to learn other stuff like the medium battery. You're going to learn things like the small generator and of course the wind turbine. Now I'm selecting those because that's kind of what we're going to be focusing on today. Now, moving on to the very first power source that we have on Rust Console, and that is going to be the small generator. Now, when it comes to the small generator, there's a lot of things you could do with the small generator. The small generator is going to hold, your low grade. That's kind of how you're going to power it. It's kind of like an IRL where you have a generator, you put gas on it, and it powers. You could turn it on, turn it off, you could do that stuff, and it has 3 plugs into it. It has a power out, a force stop, and a force start. Now you're going to be using the small generator. It's going to take 4 low grade fuel to power these things for 1 minute. That means 500 fuel is going to power it for 2 hours. If I'm not mistaken, a Rust night cycle, it's going to be 10 minutes, 10 to 14 minutes if I'm not mistaken. So take that into mind. 2 hours, that's a long time to be powering. Not to mention the fact 500 fuel, you could be using that somewhere else. Now, if we put it right here, the small generator is always going to be outputting 40. As you can see right there, 40 power, nothing less, nothing more. You could always craft the small generator. If you come over here, with a workbench level 2, if you saw in the beginning, it's going to cost us 5 high quality metal or 2 gears, or I should say and 2 gears. Now when it comes to the small generator, I would say kind of keep this as a backup, and in all honesty, you could craft one. It's not too expensive, but if you really don't want to craft one, you could always go to the outpost and then buy one. It's really cheap. It's only 125 scrap. I know some of you might be like, well, that's hefty. I could buy something like, I don't know, a jackhammer with that, So that's kind of something to keep in mind. It's up to you. It really is up to you. The only time that I see people using small generators is on small things like trap bases, or even in Rust PC, people use it for things like, if I'm not mistaken, cave bases, which in Rust Console, we don't really have caves at all, so we're gonna stick to Rust Console. So I would just say we're gonna be using this for like future trap bases. I will be displaying on how to use this, or we could even use this as a backup power source whenever the future power sources that I'm gonna be showing fails. Now moving on to our next power source, and that's gonna be the solar panels. Now in the last video, I made a huge mistake, and my mistake was that I said northwest and southeast. It is backwards. You want to be placing your solar panels northeast and southwest. Now the reason behind this is because the sun kind of rises in the north. I mean, honestly, in IRL, that's not how it works, but in regular Rust Console, or in regular Rust in general, the sun, rises in the north and sets on the south. So but if you place your solar panels, if you see we have like the little compass on top of us facing northeast and southwest, you're gonna get the maximum amount of solar collector or solar power being collected from your solar panels. Now right here we have 2 solar panels, and as you can see, we are collecting 34 power from this one, While this one, we have only one solar panel, and this one is collecting 14. Now, the solar panel has a maximum power collection of 20. However, remember the sun is not always shining on them or shining upon us. So you're not always going to get a 20 rating. You're always going to get something, anything between 0 to 20. So if you put two solar panels, one facing, obviously I put this incorrectly, but one, because this is kind of like from before, but if you put one facing northeast, or let's just say northeast and southwest, you're gonna get the maximum collection from this. Remember, each one could collect up to 20. So obviously right here so that means you're gonna get a maximum output of two of them to be 40. Obviously right now we're collecting 35 from two solar panels. Well, one is only gonna be giving us 15, and at a certain point in time of the day is only gonna give us 20, and then all of a sudden it's gonna drop to 0. Now we're collecting this and our small batteries, as you can see right here, and that's pretty much all you really need to know about solar panels. Now when it comes to crafting these things, it's going to cost us 5 high quality metal and 1 tech trash. That's a bit on the expensive side, to be honest, just for the tech trash alone, because tech trash doesn't always come that easy. So what I would tell you guys to do is just kind of go over again to the outpost, and you could purchase one of these solar panels for 75 scrap, which is a lot cheaper. So for 150 scrap, you're going to be able to slap or buy 2 solar panels, slap them on your roof, and then boom, you're good to go. Now when it comes to solar panels, if you're putting more than 2, you could only connect 1 solar panel at a time. So if you're putting 2 solar panels, you're going to need what is called a root combiner, which is right here, and you're going to connect each solar panel to the bottom side of this, and then eventually connect the top, or as it says right here, the power out straight into your battery. Now I like to connect my power out from the root combiner to the counter. That way I can see how much power how much power I'm actually collecting, as you can see right here, and I kind of have a clear thought of how much I can mess around with. So as you can see, it goes straight into my actual input, and it says right here I'm collecting 37, but somehow I have 38, but I digress. Now that's all you really need to know about solar panels. So moving on to our next one, and our very last one, which is gonna be the wind turbines. Now when it comes to the wind turbines, there's a lot of things that affect it. Obviously height is going to be one of the major things that affect how much power the wind turbine is getting, as well as how close you are to the shore. Now I'm not very close to the shore. If you guys see right here, I'm kind of inland. If the closer you are to shore, the more power you're going to be collecting. So as you can see right here, I only have this 2 high, and I'm collecting 74 power just from this one wind turbine. And then when we have this wind turbine right here, which is 4 high, I'm collecting 87 power from that one. Now the wind turbine, it's actually going to have more, or I should say it could collect up to 150 power at a time, where that's the maximum it could collect. It's going to be 150. So that's very good. But obviously, just like the solar panel, is not going to be all the time. The only difference between the wind turbine, the solar panel, and the actual small generator is that the wind turbine does not use low grade and does not need the sun to be powered. So the wind turbine is going to be collecting power day and night, unlike the solar panel that is only going to collect power during the day. Wind turbine is going to collect power all the time. Now, obviously, the wind is not always going to be blowing strong. So right now we have 79 for this one, and then for this one we have 93. So like I said, the higher you are, the closer to shore you are, the more power you're going to see being collected. Usually in Zerg bases, you're going to see about three or four of these, honestly, depending on where they place them. And they usually like to build where the pumpkins are. They build them up high, and you're going to see this. Now, usually what people like to do is that they build them on, the hatch, the regular, what they call the regular wall frames. And they're just kind of built like I have over there. They just kind of built little, I guess, Spider-Man things to go up the ladders. and then they're just gonna start playing with their power, Now, when it comes to wind turbines, I would say these are a bit on the high price. Just to craft one of these, you're looking at 500 wood, 10 high quality metal, 3 gears, and 3 metal sheets. That's not too bad, I guess. But in reality, to place this and how what a pain in the butt and unreliable it could be, depending on where you live on the map, I would say kind of leave this for like big groups. And if you are a duo, trio, or even I would say 4-man or something like that, I would say just stick to solar panels. Just place a lot of solar panels, you know. And if you want to have your large batteries be in power and your medium batteries be in power, just have a lot of solar panels. Now, if you're going to get more into the complicated side of things and you want more than one battery, you want like 3 large batteries to power a lot of turrets, then yes, have about 2 to 3 of these things. You could also purchase these things from the outpost. And if I'm not mistaken, if you purchase them from the outpost, they're going to be, I think it's like 500 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's like 500 it's like 500 scrap for one wind turbine, which is that's kind of expensive. Honestly, I would just craft it, which crafting seems a little bit cheaper with 500 wood, 10 quality metal, 3 gears and 3 metal sheets. Gears and metal and sheet metals is not too complicated to find when you're doing monuments. So maybe crafting one of these probably will be on the cheaper side, but again, you're gonna have to learn it, and if you learn this, the VP, it's gonna be expensive to learn. It's not that cheap. Here, let me see how much it is to learn this. A wind turbine, it's gonna cost us 125, which is honestly a lot cheaper than buying it for 500. Obviously, you would have to find it. So I would just kind of like, if you really want, I would just kind of wait to find it. And then if you find it, but if you're a big tribe and scrap is nothing for you, then I mean, go ahead. To learn a regular, solar panel 75, you're better off just buying them, to be honest with you. And then obviously, last but not least, power generator or a small generator, 75 scrap. Again, maybe you're better off just buying one than it is to craft one. Now, I didn't really talk about this, but when it comes to solar panels, you could actually pick them up, as well as you could pick up the regular small generator as well. And if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to large or the windmills, you are not able to pick the windmills up. So just, once you place them, you're kind of stuck with them there. So this is a huge thing, and why I say windmills are a little pain in the butt. Once you place them, they're there. It doesn't really matter if you're getting like 2 power from that one windmill. You're kind of stuck with that now. While when it comes to solar panels, you could be like, oh, wow, I placed this incorrectly. Like right now, I placed this incorrectly. I could just be like, you know what, let me pick this up and let me fix it. So this kind of has been a long formatted video when it comes to power sources. I hope this helps you. I hope this is a little bit more detailed. I know in the last one I didn't really put how much it would cost to craft one, where can you buy them and stuff like that. So I try to be a little bit more detailed about this. I hope this helps, guys. In the next video, we're going to be learning about power storage, I guess you could call it. And then from there, we'll move on to making small little concoctions in regards to like how can I power 9 turrets and all the cool things you could do with these type of things. Playing Rust console in the last couple of days, I've seen a lot of people making big mistakes when it comes to electricity. So if you really could care less about learning about electricity, I would suggest you guys do. But if you could care less, I'm going to be making videos on how to make things like base defenses, how to power up to 3 turrets, how to power your doors and stuff like that. So you could just copy and paste that into your base and not really have to worry about that. But I'm getting kind of sidetracked here. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. This has been your boy, your host, BioLaser. And until next time, guys, bye.